Welcome all you partisans, contras, and purveyors of the G-Camp experience. I am here on a lovely Thursday, not realizing that Scout is off at class in Arkansas teaching a SIGINT course. That said, I wanted to do a short little podcast, and for multiple reasons. I wanted to kind of give an update because this will be number 22. I don't have a lot of podcasts, unlike people like Teddy who can pump them out like a machine gun. We haven't been doing that too much, and summertime's around. Wisconsin is actually doing what we all should be doing, shooting guns instead of sitting inside. I'm working my butt off in the fiery pits of hell, and I got friends switching careers and doing some other stuff. So I wanted to talk a little bit just to bring up a few things that are coming down the pipeline. And I also wanted to discuss maybe a few small companies out there. Mostly this comes because I've been running across other people's recommendations on X from time to time. And we're going to start off with a small one. I don't know anything about these companies specifically. I want you to know this because they may not align with us. They're just interesting to me, and they might be interesting to you. First one's Rattler Innovations LLC. You can find them on X at Rattler Innov LLC. They make stencils, and they're also at linktree.ee Rattler Innovations. They sell for about $25 to $15, depending on your camo version that you want, different stencils for firearms, and it's for the rattle can aficionados. Now, I understand it is nicer to get really good paint on your firearms to protect it and everything else. I'm a rattle can guy. I'm not going to spend a bunch of money. The one thing I have done is I've played around, and I'll take and make a snake skin pattern by taking a old bag from Walmart for clothing, and I'll cut it and I'll put rubber bands around it, and then I'll spray paint over top of it. And I think that's totally fine. You'll break up your pattern, and this is something that Scout teaches in the Scout course, because if you go out there and you look at your black gun, you're an idiot. Everyone's an idiot with a black gun, unless you're reselling it or if you're keeping it as an antique for other reasons. There's people out there that have specific guns for that. I actually have an Moss 45. Anyways, it's the 308 version of the Moss that was imported. And this thing was one of those former military ones. It has green paint on it from the original import, which was really cool. So there are stencils they make to change the camouflage, which I thought was pretty cool. They've got Desert Night camouflage stencils for $15, which is a really easy pattern to do. I actually like it. I don't think it's very effective anymore, but it's kind of one of those niche camos people know. They have the three color. Basically, you're looking at the military camouflage color of, I'm going to edit this out, multicam, and I think that's a pretty good one. It's not the best in the world, depends on where you are. He has Vietnam Tiger Stripe. He has God's Camo of M81 on here, and he also has Rhodesian brushstroke stencils for some of you guys, which I think some of you would really like to see. He's got some other information on there, some blog posts and stuff like that. I won't go through it. Instagram, the accursed Reddit. I'm going to make a comment here. If you go on Reddit and you're a consistent Redditor, I'm very concerned about your political and ideological beliefs. Not everyone, I get it. There's certain communities on there that are very interesting, and I've gone on there to look up information because there are groups that are just dedicated to, say, radio. So they do exist there. I just find them a cesspool. They're not as bad as Blue Sky, but they're up there, so pay attention. Anyways, so Rattler Innovations LLC posted a video of him spraying off an upper, which he's going to be selling apparently to somebody who already sold. But it was painted. And he said, never cleaned my gun before. Am I doing it right? And he just spray painted off, and you could see where the black undercoat is and a tan foregrip area. He uses Citrus Strip to clean his firearm completely off And I think that's something some of you guys might want to take a look at. Take a look at his site. He's spray painting and doing camo and doing the patterns and everything else. His patterns are reusable, so you can reuse it. I'm debating right now on buying a set and taking them to the G Camp and leave them there. There's generally about 6 or 7 cans of half-used spray paint there for field use and just getting your stuff camouflaged up. I will also probably be redoing my new optic, which we'll talk about in just a bit. So we have that. I want to bring up Nick Meacher, which I've brought up several times, and the only thing I do not like about Nick is his website is Fortune Favors the Prepared, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to type in when you're trying to look for his website. Other than that, I think he's got a good book, and I think a lot of people are going to be probably rolling over that by accident because he's a small creator. I think his cards are phenomenal. And I brought those up before. He now has brevity cards for OTPs. He's got a pack of stuff for that. I haven't got a hold of that yet, and I kind of want to see what he's done specifically with it. I'm going to try to get him on the show. I have talked to him before, and we just haven't really done it. That's also the guys who I already talked to, who we were doing the podcast about their homesteading, which I found super fascinating and also almost scared me away from some of that too. But I think there was so much interest in that and, from certain people that I'd like to explore that deeper. And because it's a hard thing to just do and not know what you're doing. He's got some other stuff on his website, everything from code plugs to obviously the Family Emergency Plan Workbook, loose leaf, or the book format, however you want to do that. He's got mind maps for some other stuff. And I think it's a different way to look at certain things that would be valuable to some of you. He's also got some get home bag checklist card sets. And for the new preppers, I think it's kind of a cool idea to look at some of this. And some of this is just stuff to put in your car, like a small solar panel, rechargeable batteries, power cell, wet wipes. And we've discussed this on the podcast before. Have your checklists. And Historian's a big checklist dude. And I think that's something that's missed routinely by all of us. What's your checklist for your Go kit? Everything in the military had a checklist for a reason, and that was because 95% of people couldn't keep track of their own stuff. Now, I'm not saying that you can't do that. You're an adult. You probably aren't being paid by Uncle Sugar anymore if you're listening to me. Maybe you are. Who knows? Uncle Sugar will give you the list. He will say, you are bringing this. You will go, these 3 items are retarded. Why the hell am I bringing them? And Uncle Sugar will tell you, bring them anyways because you have to. We don't have to do that as adults. But we also forget things, and I forget things every trip, and it kind of peeves me off. Right now I'm looking at my Hack RF that sits over here, and I don't use it, and I don't play with it as much as I should, but it's something that I probably should put in a go bag or in a go box with my radio set, because it has functional uses. And I even have something that I haven't played with it yet, which is an amplifier for it. That stuff, marking and labeling your gear, stuff like that is very, very important. I want to continue on, and I have talked about Angry American, Chris Weatherman. He known by Angry American, and he's a very good author. He does what he says. He goes to courses. He does the training, and he doesn't do as much training anymore, but he still goes to probably 3 times the amount of classes I do, while running a new company and everything else. So the man's pretty busy. Great dude. But let's step a little bit further down the book trail. There's a guy named Pete Robertucci. He goes by the Eden's Army, and he's written some books. I really have enjoyed his books. They're in the same vein as Angry American, but they're a different feel, they're a different format, they're a different environment. They do have the more compound feel, but it's not like some of the books that I've read where they're out of hand, kind of over the top. Oh, what was that movie that came out recently? I know somebody's going to be thinking about it. That was done by Angel Studios on the prepping community. That guy had a giant mansion, giant supplies, and everything else stocked away. You don't see that as much in real life. It does exist. There are places that exist, but it's just not as realistic. I think Pete did a good job. I think Chris does a really good job with that too. And I've seen their prepping stuff. We were invited because we were part of their community to go out and hang out with them. And I think sometimes, like, the fantasy side of stuff, the books, helps you better understand where you're going with prepping and possible futures, while putting you in such a god-awful place as some of the people who say you need XYZ and 1,001 things. It's part of the reason why I also enjoy Scout. Scout does sell stuff that's a little on the edge of like, do I really need this, or is this a want? But almost everything he's got is an essential tool to somebody who is going to be in a conflict in the future. And it's not the standard, here's your army kit kind of thing. Next thing I want to bring up is a GPS Glasnost little GPS dongle. We don't know if GPS will stay up. We don't know if Glasnost will stay up. But for the limited time, if you're a radio operator, you need to use JSA Call or WSTX or whatever it is, the one that does FT8. You probably want one of these. And there's also an app out there that's, I think it's BK Timer. Let me do a quick search while I'm here. But it allows you to track down your time off of the GPS signals and transfer it to the computer itself and lock it in. And that's something super important. Now, this is something else I wanted to bring up, is not everything out there on, you don't always have to buy things. Sometimes it's real easy to get software that you might need. And that kind of steps into another thing. This is talking mostly about the SIGINT stuff. So one of the pieces of software is called GPS to Time. It's by Victor Kilo 4 Alpha Delta Charlie. There's some other variations of that out there. Do some research. Time syncing isn't that hard. And they also have some for the Mac as well. I want to say it's Sync Mac, something like that. Just in case you don't have opportunity to get the software or get a hold of it. And the other one I was going to recommend is BKT Time Sync. And I believe that one's free as well. But there's another piece of software that I'm gotten into, and let me pull it up on my computer. I know you can't see this, and we're not doing video stuff right now, but it's called Artemis. And Artemis is an interesting little piece of software that you can put on your computer, and you can build a database, or you can download their database, real small piece of software, and you can track down exactly what kind of signals you're seeing on your radio. This helps in the SIGINT side of things because he's got almost everything listed out. Now, what I will tell you that kind of is a pain in the butt for people who don't know a lot about this, there's frequency ranges and there's specific names for them, like UHF, VHF, and all that stuff. Well, there's super high frequency, extreme high frequency. I can't remember what medium frequency. I think it's medium frequency is MF. And there's also LF, VLF, ULF, super low frequency, and extremely low frequency. And this band goes somewhere like 28 megahertz to like... Anyways, sorry, I'll correct that later. Depending on what you're looking at, there's a whole bunch of different stuff out there on the frequency spectrum that you if you know, you'll be able to see things better. But the nice thing about this is I can go in here and I can not only do a space weather, check the report to see how the weather is for signals on different bands. I can also come in here and look for specific signals. Now I can check on what it looks like on a waterfall. I can actually listen to it as well. And I can also do some searches for specific signal types and filters. So I can put a frequency range in, and all this is set up for like specific like hertz or megahertz or kilohertz. So if you don't know exactly what you're looking at, it's very easy for you to figure out, like, oh, I'm looking at this on my screen and I don't know if it's hertz or megahertz or kilohertz, and kind of check around with that. You can also pop open the band, check the band location, and I'm not sure what the ACF is. I'm going to have to look that up later. But this allows you to filter specific frequencies, and it gives you a handful of different modes of signaling. I typed in 121.5, which is your emergency frequency, and they've popped out a bunch of different frequencies that these work on, and you can find everything on here from single frequency Russian overhead power lines to switching electrical interfaces to WinLink global email radio system, which falls in that band place of VLF all the way to UHF. And then I can hit the button to play it. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to hear this. We'll edit it out if you can't. So I think you get the idea if you can hear it. But it's really nice to be able to see it and download all this stuff onto a laptop, take it with you. You can also go onto the websites and stuff like that if you're connected to the internet, but this is a standalone piece of software. You don't have to have it with you all the time. And that's what's so nice about this. And you don't see this in other featured apps that might go on your cell phone that have basically the same thing. This is all standalone. Now, I don't know anything about the people per se and what their projects are. They've got a project homepage, which is aresvalley.com, Ares Valley. And it's a pretty nice website, and you can go look at their software and download it from them. They have it for Windows. They also have it for Linux, Mac OS, and Raspberry Pi. And this is why I recommend this one, is because regardless of your flavor of software you want to run, and if you want to run on a Raspberry Pi, it's there. So definitely a bunch of nerds over there, and you can tell they got who we are. You can tell who they are, but they did a good solid service. This is free software, so free is in freedom, and if you read into it, they'll tell you about all that stuff. I'm not going to go deep into it as much as I'd like to. It's just something free, and I don't want you to spend money on absolutely everything. Now, I'm going to go over and I'm going to bring up another thing. And again, this is, how do I put this? Every company's probably going to have a little bit of a bad position. Let's go with Levi Strauss. Levi Strauss has produced jeans forever. I used to wear them for a long time. I don't wear them anymore, and I don't think they're a bad product. But Levi Strauss as a company has paid for people to take time off of work to go protest firearms. And I think it's absolutely absurd for a company that is in that position to make that argument. That said, Watson Watch Company has come under some scrutiny recently about specific things, not firearm related, but I think on the whole, the Kingdom of Israel and stuff like that. I think it's a kind of a hard hit. They're a Christian company, all that other stuff. And that's part of the reason why I bring this up. Their politics are Christianity, but they're also a watchmaker. They've got some really nice watches, and I think they're really, really good. But you may not like them for that. And go take a look at their website. If you don't want to spend your money there, I'm sure other people will. If I have the money and the time, I probably will. They do not like Antifa and socialists. And I just scrolled down 20 hours ago. Besides being ridiculous, does the OP realize that this is also the same color scheme as actual fascists use? And it was my DIY emergency fascism extinguisher built for under $500. It's an AR-15 built to the specs of the Socialist Republic of California out there. And it's black and red, and you can see their little butt pouch medical kit that has their little fascist flag or anti-fascist flag, but we know what that is, and a red cross on it, all in black. I bring these guys up, and I also bring up this stuff. They make really good watches. If you want to watch, take a look at them. They're $800-ish bucks, and I think they're probably worth it. I'm thinking, to be fair with it, I don't have a big issue with them, but if you do, and you want to comment about it, by all means. I think also commenting to them too, they have a lot of hot takes, and sometimes that is just to produce very fixed people who are going to come by from them too. I think, don't quote me, Joe Delio has one of their watches. And we don't always have to agree with everything. Not everybody that you're going to meet is going to agree. If you're looking for a nice watch, they're around the 800 ballpark. Sometimes they get a little cheaper. And they're automatic field watches. The pre-order sale on some of their new watches brings it down by about $150. They also do post some other deals that you'll see pop around too. Let's go on. And I'm going to bring up, and I know this is going to get into a community that we've talked about before of what's an elite gun and what's not. And we will probably be doing a podcast this weekend with Wisco Mando and Patriot Man. We had 5 people on it last time and it got trashed, and we're going to be talking firearms. And that is Palmetto State Armory. I love Palmetto State Armory. I think they're probably one of the biggest producers of firearms related stuff to the common person. Do they have the best prices all the time? Absolutely not. Are they the worst ones? No. Do they come out with a lemon here and there? Yes. So, and they sell every gun. Primary Arms sells a lot of stuff too, and I think they fall in the same kind of balance of stuff. Right now there's a fundraiser going on. PSA selling an AR-15 for Guns of America. It's a strip lower receiver. Ships within 60 days. It's got the Gun Owners of America seal on it. Generally speaking, let's see here, it says $25 from each lower sold will go directly towards funding Gun Owners of America's ongoing lawsuit challenging the constitutionality of the NFA Act, or National Firearms Act. Our goal is to raise $250,000 to support the critical lawsuit. If we are able to sell 9,999 of these GOA 15s, we'll hit that target. We expect this lawsuit and corresponding appeals to cost over $1 million. So they're putting their money where their mouth is. Yes, you are pulling money out. You could go straight to GOA if you feel less inclined to do that and stick it in there. The serial range is NFA and then your serial number. And the fire selector goes Hush, SBR, Burt. So kind of fun. But PSA has produced a whole bunch of stuff. They've got the Jackal. They've promised things that haven't come out. They've come out with things people didn't quite ask for. To be fair, did we need the Saber? No. And I wrote an article on it. But the Saber is a cheap economy build. It comes from a company that is, at least if you don't like what they do and you don't think their guns are great, their warranty is freaking phenomenal. And I think that's very important in these day and ages where you can't get unlimited warranties. These guys have fixed a couple things that I've run across in my time. Generally, it's their Gen 1 stuff. The Gen 1 AKs kind of had a little hiccups and stuff like that. I've heard some stuff about their ammo. I have not confirmed it, but they don't just sell their own ammo. It's not just AAC, it's other stuff. And I heard something about them being light loaded, which AAC was, I think, a little heavier on the loads. I couldn't tell you for sure off the top of my head. I wasn't a big purchaser of AAC unless it was on sale or I just happened to run across it somewhere. But they don't just sell that. They're trying to get everybody to have firearms in their hands, whether it is an AKV, which is a 9mm AK-47 style weapon, to their higher line sabers, to the new Jackals, or your PSA 10, which is a 308 AR-15, and obviously the PSA 15, which is just another AR-15 clone. And they're not anything massive. They've got build kits in here. They've got AK parts and all that stuff. They sell a lot of good optics and stuff like that. Now, I'm gonna say that you should pay attention to them, but you also should pay attention to Brush Beater, because Brush Beater has had a long, very upstanding community work with them and has interviewed them and everything else. And probably some of my favorite gun-related conversations have come from there too. That said, everything is on their website. The prices aren't over the top. Yes, they're there to make money. Yes, there's some stuff on there that's ridiculously expensive. And like, I just clicked on a thing and here's an HK for $3,499 in 7.62 by 51. And here's another Blem PSA AR-15 for $469.99 with a 16-inch nitride barrel setup, Springfield Armory M1A loaded national match for $16.99. And here's some PSA Dagger micro compact and full size frames for $169. Glocks 519, 569. Just limitless amount of choices in here, and they're mostly reasonable price. I think they got real lucky, and if you want to go listen to Scouts podcast on that, I think it's worth listening to the company. Again, companies are going to tell you what they want to tell you because they're trying to make you buy products. That said, I feel like PSA, and I was in the region as they grew, I think they're not a bad company. Not everybody likes them. It's all viable, and people have had bad experiences. That's also important too. I remember when Remington was a big deal, and they kind of got shammed. SIG, good Lord, I think everybody knows the SIG issue. We're talking about that on X today with a couple people. The 320 is literally ruined SIG's quality for decades now, probably. But I love my 365, and everybody else does too. A lot of people were shitting on SIG for their 320, own a 365 or multiple 365s. And for some reason, that gun doesn't have the same problem as the 320. So do what you want for that. I'm going to shout out Palmetto State Armory. I think if you're starting out, it's a place to look. Get a rifle before you get a pistol, unless you live in a non-permissive environment or other such reasons. And I'm going to also point you towards the AR and the AK platforms first. They're the most common. Get a shotgun if you want one too, and they've got all that stuff. By the way, there's firearms closeouts on PSA too, so by all means check that out. Like, they have a G40 Gen 4 10mm Glock 6-inch 15 rounds for $569, which is not a bad price. A couple other interesting guns in here. H&K is actually, they got a sale on one of theirs for a gray model with sights and stuff like that for $833 if you're a big HK fan. But yeah. Oh, and there's also a Benelli M2 tactical 18.5 inch barrel 12 gauge shotgun with ghost ring sights for $13.99, which is kind of what I expect from Benelli. So let's go on to the last company, and it's all my favorite one to promote every damn time. Yes, I like Scout. Scout's a good dude. I think he's a very honorable dude when he's working with his stuff. Not everything he sells is super, super cheap, but he also is a big fan of selling stuff to the common man. For right now, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh, something else I don't need, but I want. They've got the AGM, the Wolf 14, which is a night vision product, and he's selling it right now. It was $19.95. It is now $17.95. If you do the deal calculator through ShopPay, it's $87 a month with 0 APR. You can check your purchasing power if you want to go that way, but he's got everything in here. But let's go to the tactical gear. I'm gonna see if I can find this real quick because I just bought it today. I've been checking this website on and off for a while now, and for some reason it didn't come in. I just happened to roll across it. So he's got a low profile night vision cap. I've ordered this. There's some guys getting it. It is your ultra low profile. I want to add a night vision to my stuff, but I don't want to wear a helmet setup. And I'm getting it. We'll try it out. I'll probably write an article on it. He also has some dovetail helmet mounts, so you can switch over to the new dovetail system, which I think is way better than the old Nostris setups. It's a lot more modifiable and controllable to get you set up the right way. And granted, he's got helmets and everything else like that, but it's something to look at. The night vision cap's $59.99, and I think it's going to be a very nice product for those guys who want low profile or something to stuff in a bag but don't want to carry a helmet around or don't feel the need to do it. We will be talking about this weekend too, and I really want to touch on this. If we're talking about firearms, this is definitely going to be brought up. Khyber Optics is Scout's big push into the optics world. And talking to him, I feel like he really wants to hurt some feelings and put in some affordable prices for some really good optics. Let me read what he's got posted, and then you can make your make your opinions here. Khyber Optics, founded in 2025 to meet the demands of the next generation of shooters. Featuring premium Japanese glass and ultra-rugged construction, Khyber Optics has taken full advantage of modern optics manufacturing to bring you the maximum bang for your buck. Run by disabled veterans of Afghan and Iraq, Khyber Optics have one mission: equip you, the free American whose budget is not provided by Uncle Sam. We're not here to chase contracts or look flashy. No marketing fluff, no gimmicks. Optics either perform or they don't. Ours do, plain and simple. Khyber Optics exists to equip you with the very best value without sacrificing quality. Having optics lines to meet each shooter's budget and needs will be backed by 100% light. As simple as this. You break it, we replace it. So, I got one while I was up there. Got a red one. I haven't mounted it yet. I'm going to beat the shit out of it. I'm currently working in the Florida region, and it's going to drink some salt water. It's going to go to the Everglades, and it's going to be beaten up. I was going to get, and this is something I also want you to know about, Khyber Optics MDO Kill Flash. I see a big VE on this, and this Kill Flash is a lens protector for that optic. And it's made by Vigilante Engineering, which I need to do a whole shebang on, because that man has gotten some really good stuff, and he's built some really good stuff. And I don't think he gets enough support or real drive from the radio community. And I feel like I've neglected him. He's got products for your Hack RF to protect it. He's got products for your Tiny SA Ultra. That thing has saved my damn device. I had it in my bag. I didn't zip my bag up. I slung up my pack on, and out came my Tiny SA Ultra. Thank God the antenna was off of it at the time. And it went flying, hit the ground, and busted the case some, but the device was totally fine. I swear by his products. The 6100 that I have is in a case for the same reason, and he's got a kill flash that goes over that. So something to look at if you're going to get one. It's $9 for a freaking 3D printed kill flash. For you to figure it out and build it, you could do it yourself, but it's just way cheaper. So let's talk about the Khyber Optics MDO. It's their mini dot optic. And why am I switching to this? Because I have an LPVO, and there's limitations on LPVOs. I am on the East Coast for this foreseeable future. And at this point, my dumbass might move to North Carolina and beg to work at this company like a homeless refugee just to get out of the heat. That said, I really love this optic. I like it a lot better than some of the other optics that have been built. It is, for all intents and purposes, it's a aim point optic with Japanese glass. It is put in a 6061 aluminum housing, which everybody knows 6061 aluminum. Pretty damn durable. Yeah, you can scratch, you can beat up, but it still gets the crap beat out of it. It features a shake awake, which is something everybody should have. And the battery life says over 50,000 hours. I'm going to change it way before that, and it's a common 2032 battery. It's the little going batteries. Everybody's got these for everything. I think it's way better than what we have out on the market with HoloSun. I'm okay with HoloSun, but $200, I'm going to get something with an enclosed reticle that works well. You can get it in green, you can get it in red, and I know people will be like, green's better, red's better, whatever. For some people's eyesight, green just is more effective. I'm more of a red guy. Maybe it's just nostalgia, whatever. Maybe I'll buy a green one after I beat the snot out of this and see if I can rust the parts off of it and take photos of it and everything else. But overall, I've really enjoyed it. The shake awake feature, keeping the battery. That way, throw it on your AR-15, throw it in a safe, or maybe it's your next year bed optic. He's got 2 or 3 risers in the box. I really should have gone and grabbed it before I came in here. It was so interesting. I saw a woman at a coffee shop, and she had a gun shirt on, and I commented on it and was talking about, oh, where can we shoot around here, all this other stuff, because when I travel, that's how I find out where's the good places, where the bad places are. And I really wish I had had it to show her. It's very square. It's got some cut corners on it. Very cool little optic, and it's not very big. So something to look at. So we're going to dunk in the water and everything else and hope to God everything works out fine. Scout knows that his stuff is good or he wouldn't put a lifetime warranty on it. And if you mess it up, guess what? It's the same way why I like Palmetto State Armory. You mess it up, you beat it up, it gets trashed, it's going to get replaced. Now, let me go on and finish this up because I'm going too long anyways. He's got some Khyber Optics 34mm scope mounts coming out. It'll be about $129.99, which is about average for scope mounts these days. Looks really good. I don't know enough about scope mounts. I'm going to probably talk about with Wisco about that. He has an LPVO coming out, 1-5x24. Very nice setup. Something else to look at. I saw one of the demo products at his store. Really good. Now, here's the kicker on this. $249.99, and this isn't a sales price, or well, I'll take that back. It is a sales price. $300 normally. It's on sale, but it's sold out right now. You can't buy it, but that's going to be the original introductory price. I think the intro for the Khyber Optics mini red dot was $179. So if you want to sit around, you already got all your optics. Sit around, wait for one of his sales to come on. He doesn't do a lot of sales, but when he does, sometimes some of this comes out. Now he also is going to have a full scope 5-25x56. $600. You really can't beat that on a budget, and with the Japanese glass and the way he builds stuff so far that I've touched has been really cool. He's also got a 3x18, so if you don't want that 5x25, that's also an option. You guys are shooting 308s. Oh, by the way, and I'm going to caveat this, all these optics are rated for 50 cal. So you won't have those problems of the optic shifting, and if you do, message him, get a replacement. So the scopes are not my big thing. Maybe Mando will go into it a little bit. He kind of cheeses out on that stuff. I'm an okay shooter. I feel good, but I'm nowhere near an expert of some of you guys. And it'll show on the range. Can I hit the target? Yes. Can I keep things down range? Yes. Am I going to hunt you down and ambush you with signal intelligence? Probably more my style, but whatever. Last thing I really want to bring up is the Khyber Optics Jambia. And this is a 3x30 fixed scope. He's brought it up in a lot of his podcasts, and I saw the body of the prototype, but the reticle in it wasn't the same one that he has designed in here. And let me read this. So the Jambia, the blade synonymous with Middle Eastern lore. Equal parts practical tool and weapon, the Jambia is as much a symbol of warrior as it is a practical piece of kit. T. Lawrence would never be without his since his time raising an Arab army of guerrillas to fight the Ottoman Empire. It is in his honor we name the most versatile optic in the Khyber Optics line, a compact 3x30 scope, suitable for any weapons platform combined with a non-electronic rangefinder built into the reticle. Without a doubt, the optics world is dominated by an AR-15 platform, and as a result, most of the designs are tailor-made for them. This includes compact, lightweight optics in operational environments in other corners of the world that need to outfit other platforms becomes paramount. The AK, the G3, the FAL, and so on. The Jambia is the result of recognizing that need. The mounting solution is completely up to the shooter. Tailor it to your needs. The Jambia features 3x magnification with a 30mm objective lens, a 34mm single-piece tube, Japanese glass, 1/4 MOA adjustments with locking turrets. It's very important for some of you guys, and you know why if you've shot enough. And a 10-setting illuminated reticle. It has an incredibly generous eye relief, surpassing any of the prismatic optics in its class. Light and compact, yet rugged, the Jambia certainly lives up to its namesake. I also want to add to this too, there's 2 night vision settings in the mini dot. I'm assuming that's going to be for all their stuff that's got any kind of illumination. Last but not least, it's a crosshair design. It's got the MOA stadias on it. It also has the Russian style rangefinder, which is those little steps. It's got a baseline and then you've got steps going up, and underneath those steps you'll see numbers like 8, 6, 4, and that tells you how many yards or meters or away it is. I can't remember if it's going to be in yards or meters. I want to say it's meters maybe, but that's something we'll see when it comes out. Now, he has told this open that they should be coming in around August, September time. I will be hopefully traveling across the country at the time, and if the fiance to be a wife permits it, I'm going to try to get to North Carolina and pick one of these up in person, but we'll see. Anyways, I just wanted to pop this out because I know some of the guys are at DARC. I wanted to get one of these out before they had to go home, and I appreciate all the time I've spent with my guys at the G Camp. I hope a lot of you guys are making friends out there, and you guys really need to start going to classes. If you haven't paid attention to the internet, you haven't paid attention to anything, there was a complex ambush. I brought it up, I think, in the last podcast. The guys were wearing very militarized black tactical kit that I haven't seen since, late 90s, early 2000s when that was in fashion. When you have over 10 people come out of the woodworks to do a complex ambush because of politics, we've stepped over that threshold. Scout brought that up. It's not anything that a lot of you in the community haven't seen, but as we see more and more over time, where's the breaking point? Did we pass the breaking point? Are we before the breaking point of Civil War? What's going on here? And it's happening all over the world. Follow France. Check out how France is just totally destroyed. It's scary. There's people getting raped and mugged all the time out there. And I wouldn't say all the time everywhere, but like cities and stuff like that are going to hell in a handbasket. And it should be noted. Because what are you going to do? What are you going to do when this stuff comes to your area of the woods? And I think that's very important. Like I said about that whole thing, the ICE facility in Texas was attacked. You see their gear. Their gear isn't total garbage. They've got PMags, they've got resist fascism, fight oligarchy flags, and they set up a diversionary attack, all that stuff. And some of the documentation in there, organizing for an attack, insurgency, anarchy. I don't know what this other one, another critique on insurrection. A lot of stuff out there that they've got going on, and I don't think we're going to see all of it, but it's definitely black bloc style stuff. Pay attention. It's all white people, from what I can tell. Maybe Hispanic in that group, but honestly, we won't know. And I don't want to pull the race because it's not a race thing. This is a political and ideological thing, and it's regardless of race. They're going to ignore this. We know this is what happens. The left is going to ignore this because it's a Antifa group, and it does besmirch the left. And these guys aren't liberals. I know a lot of people like to say this, but they aren't liberals. The problem is they're not going to stop it. If you throw conservatives on the street and a whole bunch of Nazis, the conservatives are going to be pissed off and tell them to fuck off. The left doesn't do that as much. They just kind of ignore and pretend it's not there. And we've had these conversations in my articles and everything else. Again, I didn't want COTS to be a whole political rambling of nonsense. I wanted to talk about gear and the specifics of stuff and training that is based on you. And maybe you don't agree with everything I say. That's 100% fine. I also want you to disagree with gear. Maybe you'll message me and say PSA sucks and here's why. And I'd love to have you guys on for that too. If any of you guys have topics you want to talk about or you want us to look into, let us know. I got to talk to Nick Meacher. I've got to talk to a One Horse Farmer again. I want to get HP back on, and I want to do some stuff like that. There's been some other things that have been brought up too. If you have any places, last kind of shout out for the evening is going to be Wendigo Works. Partly because I forgot you guys and I'm really sorry I did. But Wendigo Works also makes some phenomenal gear, and you should be looking into theirs for their gear. Scout sells it, so there you go. They also have some really nice slimline plate carrier kits and stuff like that, and hiking pouches. And my favorite is the ultra light Rhodesian split rig. $140, absolutely worth every damn penny of it. Split rigs are the go-to for going out and scouting and field stuff. If you're not kicking indoors and you need to put some kit on, it's so light, it's so easy. But yeah, they got everything. Shotgun caddies. I love their MRC micro rigs. Bought one when I was out there, and it is just, it's top notch. They have also talked about making that split rig a little bit bigger for your 308 guys. I don't know if that ever came to pass, and I don't see it on their website right now, but wendigoworks.com, if you want something like that for the 308 side, and they got night vision cases padded and stuff like that, go check them out. At least poke in and just see what they got. If you don't like it, you don't have to buy it. You know, they're micro duffel for the PVS $1470. It's not cheap, but you know what? It's padded. It takes care of your shit. Their chest rigs are $174 up to $250 if you want the donut operator range kit, because they did their stuff for donut operator. Really good kit, but a little flashy for me. I don't like that day low colors. They do have some really cool color patterns though, if you want something like the chocolate chip from back in the Gulf War era. But anyways, guys, please go train. I know if you're listening to me now, you're either coming back from the SIGINT course or you're not been to it. Joe Dolio has some courses coming up, and I'm probably going to talk about that this weekend with everybody, because I think Patriot Man's gone to a couple of his classes. I hope, crossing my fingers, and I absolutely need to go to his classes, so that's in my future. Hopefully I'll get a North Carolina class. The dude's phenomenal. He's an awesome teacher. He teaches when he comes to classes just to hang out, so that's why I know how good he is. And go to his classes. He's out in Montana now. He's in the western part of Montana, if I remember correctly. He's got a place. He's got a place to stay. It's a big setup, and it's well worth your time to go out there and actually get training, especially for your West Coast guys. Like, Montana isn't that far away from most of you guys out in Utah and those regions. Wyoming Survival's out there, does radios and stuff like that too. So anyways, thanks for your time. Keep your shovel sharp. Don't be a loot drop. And I'll see you on the next one.